Did you know that winning in most sailboat races is not determined by speed alone? The sailing racecourse, just like a chessboard, is a playground where tactical effects and strategies determine victory. Nowhere is this more true than with the two effects called backwinding and shadowing, also known as blanketing. And understanding what these two effects look like is critical. And like what the Sailing Team Tally-Ho channel is famous for, we'll show you some real point of view footage of what each look like so that you and your crew can take advantage of these effects, as well as recognizing when not to get trounced by them when your competitors try to use them against you. Oh, and a promise, no AI here, either voice or video. This is the real thing. Hi, I'm Captain Tom again. I originally started making these videos to help answer the questions that my crew had. Then my kids got me a GoPro camera a couple of years ago for Father's Day, and oh boy, now look what trouble I've caused. Like knowing the sailing rules, I believe that knowing these effects is also very important for everybody to know on the team as well, not just the skipper. The funny thing is, the more the team knows why we do something, the better we do. I think this starts with all of the many sailing terms and their real-world implications. There are many, some with a frustrating number of synonyms, and not found in any book, so I can totally understand how a newbie can get bewildered. And I'm here to fix that. But first, if you like this, please take a millisecond and click on the like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It helps keep this coming. So let's get going. The first thing to understand deeply is that any boat with its sails up will affect the wind around it. Think of it like walking around skyscrapers on a windy day. You just never know where that wind will come from to blow your hat off. Same with sailing boats on the water. At a smaller scale, of course. Most importantly, this means that any other boat around it, especially in certain places, will be affected as well. In a fleet race, it's almost impossible not to affect or be affected by the change in the wind from other boats. Being the one who has the upper hand in that engagement, however, is a key to winning races. There are essentially two ways that this effect occurs. One where the wind is changed direction by deflecting off the sails that we call backwinding. Its effect is most noticeable in roughly the zone marked here. If you are sailing in this zone, you'll notice that the wind comes from a slightly different direction, mostly on your bow, and also a slightly lower velocity. The other zone is where the sails stop, or what we call blanket, or shadows, the wind directly. And it's most noticeable in this blue zone. You might ask, well, what difference does it make what zone you're in? So hold on to that thought. I'll answer that when we get to the point of view footage. You'll see firsthand how they are tactically different. Now, of course, Mother Nature doesn't know anything about zones, or sailing, or backwinding, or blanketing, or anything. So the effect you actually get is the combination of both zones. Oh, and this is where the fun starts. This is part of the game. Now, I've diagrammed this here, but please don't take this too literally. It's not a hard zone, but a gradient. And it also depends on the amount of wind and the relative wind to the boat. I'm just showing a boat sailing on a typical reach here for simplicity. When you look at a lot of wind flow diagrams, they depict the wind with orderly and straight lines like a supersonic wind tunnel. But the backwinding and blanketing effects we're talking about are just not that predictable. It helps me to think of the wind as a sort of honey that wraps around things like your spoon. The wind bends and curls around objects, especially sailboats with their sails up. I believe it's really important to visualize that when you're on the water. Okay, enough with the philosophy. Let's move on and show you some real POV footage of what the effects of backwinding and blanketing actually do. You don't need to take my word for it. Here we are at a sonar class start at Wayzata Yacht Club. But let's take a look at these two boats. When someone is in someone's zone here, is it the backwind zone for 834, or is 464 in the blanketing zone? Sometimes the difference is only a few feet. Also notice that one is going to be blanketed, whereas the other will be backwinded. Which is why it's important to differentiate between the two. Let's just watch for a little bit. You can see that 464 is losing the battle. They are getting into the blanketing zone and dropping back. And we say 464 is getting gassed or stuffed. They both mean the same thing. You can tell the crew knows this, and they're looking for a good place to bail out. And notice the longer it goes, the worse it gets. And actually both boats are affected. We're taking this picture from Tally Ho, and watch how we are dropping them to leeward. Finally they can turn, and they bail out or pull the plug. They both mean the same thing. It just means to get out of any losing situation. Here's the same sort of situation from another point of view. But in this case, it's Tally Ho. We're the boat that's going to get stuffed. We were just a few seconds too late on a lee bow play. In this case, if we had only been 2 or 3 feet farther ahead, we would have been backwinding the boat above us. We just didn't time it quite right. As soon as we realized that we were not winning this one, we bailed out as well. We were getting stuffed or gassed by Gaijin, sonar 875, so we had to get out of here quick. We were both losing ground to the first place boat here. Here's another one where Tally Ho tacks and creates a new backwind zone. Only to snag another boat into the zone. So notice how the backwind slowly affects the other boat. They're not able to point as high, and eventually they get a loss of velocity and drop back. We call this lee bowing another boat, or getting lee bowed if you're on the receiving end. So they were actually a little ahead of us before this tack. So as you can see, it's not all about sail trim or just all-out speed. It's about understanding what the sails do to the wind around you and knowing where to be defensive or offensive with that. And just keep in mind that these effects also apply downwind, and it changes depending on the strength of the wind as well. There are no cookie-cutter solutions here. Can you think of some other effects? Let me know in the comments. So is getting started or improving your game in this where you want to go? Stick around because I have lots more POV footage like this. You know what to click. Thanks! I'll give you some other resources that'll give you a lot of info on this as well. So I look forward to seeing you on the next windward leg.